Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Building with Whip. Today we are starting out a brand new project, and I am so very excited to be able to share this all with you. Thank you all so very much for the support on the world tour, and a big thank you and shout out to Corrales for joining me on that one. That was absolutely awesome to be able to show the world around to him, and I was so excited seeing all the responses from everybody. You all seem to absolutely love the project, and I'm very excited to be able to get back into the world here and start something brand new. Today, we are going to be starting a new village project. Not quite a transformation, just building our own village. I want to know, first and foremost, down in the comments below, should we include villagers inside of this village, or should we make it a barren wasteland, as y'all like to refer to everything else that I build? I'd be happy to transport some villagers over in there, and we can set up a little bit of a system for them to exist inside of the village and everything like that. I've got a few awesome ideas for what we're going to be doing within this area. So today we're going to be talking about the plan for it. We're going to be building our road to connect it up into everything else that we have. And I am so very excited for this one. Let me jump over to Papyrus real quick, and we will walk over to where this new build is going to be. Here we are in wonderful Papyrus. This place was so awesome to be able to walk around in. I always forget how much stuff we have continued to add into this city. I love that every single time, or every single segment in between the world tours, more or less we've come back and worked on this area quite a bit, and that's just been so fun. And today we're going to be taking ourselves going directly west of Papyrus, coming off in this direction around our iron farm, and kind of starting off the new segment of where this road was originally supposed to go before we hooked a left here, went into this little tiny village and off into that direction. Originally the road was planned to extend all the way over here, jump down here, and then have a bridge coming across this river. This river leads into a giant, just grassy plains area. We've got some mountains off to the left-hand side. We've got a big ol' oak forest off to the right-hand side, and I think it's really cool. And what we're going to be doing in this new project is building right around here. This is a location inside of our brand new area, or this is the brand new area that we're going to be working inside of. Right off in that direction, right over that hill, right, like we should be able to see it. They're just coming out of the fog is Castle Bleakrock, and so we're very close to that original castle. And what I want to do, which means that our giant port city is right up here, just to situate y'all inside of our world a little bit better. The port city is right up in that direction, and we are right down here. And I'm so very excited to be working on this project. What we're going to be going for, let's land on top of our lovely new viewing tree right up here. Always need a viewing tree. Is this whole area right here is we're going to transform this section on this side of the river into some buildings. We're going to have a few bridges going across the river and transform a little bit of an area over there. Going to do a lot of terraforming in this project to smooth the area out. And what I want to do is create a cool medievally styled city or village that works within the theme that we have in the port city, also with what we have over there, but its own unique take on it. Of course, we're always going to be trying new things in here. And what I want to have is more of a farming area, but we're going to go with something that we haven't really farmed inside of the game yet, being the peonies. We don't really have any giant peony fields anywhere inside of it. I don't know how to say the name of that flower, but that's what we're going for. The too tall one, you know, with the big old bushy things on and everything like that. But we're going to make some giant fields of that around here. What I would like to do first, however, is I got to fix up this terrain for ourselves. We're going to be doing the plan for it today, so you can all see the general scale of what we're going for here. So let me get to chopping, let me get to dirt placing, and I'll be back. The big area down here is at least cleaned up mostly. Got rid of a lot of those holes in the ground and the weird ponds like those things that were scattered around here. Cleared out a bunch of area for the trees, which I think that'll be enough to start planning out the structures. I love that that area is hilly. I want to leave that hilly, but I also kind of want to bring up the terrain around these areas that we do have. I originally wanted to create like a dock area. We can actually see our city all the way over there, but you see how we have like the stone bulwark of sorts? I was thinking bringing something like that in along here, making a smaller one, like another stop point from the castle once you get into this area. Then that can bring you over to there and everything. I thought that'd be kind of cool to introduce another stopping point right in here for that one. But I also have another question for y'all. I know we're early in the video, and this is question number 2. Is what colors of terracottas in concrete should we use for the roofs of the buildings down here? I want to make this place more colorful. We have our dark oak village transformation over there with the stone and the dark oak wood. Way down south, we have that awesome 1.14 village transformation we did with a lot of oak wood and that type of stuff. And here I want to incorporate some spruce wood, some stones, stone bricky stuff. But I also want to incorporate a lot of color in here. I want to use concretes and terracottas and make it just bright and vibrant and colorful and fun and all that stuff. So let me know in the comments below what type of colors we should be using. That being said, however, we've got to come up with a plan for this area right here for where the structures are going to go. I know we've been doing a lot of time-lapsey things, third-person type things for today's episode, but what I would like to accomplish today is, one, getting our roadway set up all the way over to here so we can actually have it connected and everything. So we might need to fill in the rest of these guys and do a little bit more terraforming, but I ran out of dirt besides what I got here in my inventory. But first and foremost, I have a bunch of concrete powder on me. Let's kick this off into a long bird's eye view time-lapse mode, and we're going to talk about where the new structures are going. To get ourselves started out here, I went into Photoshop and came up with a loose plan for what I want to do here, and that I drew way too big in and decided to clear out this entire area of trees because in my Photoshop drawing I was like, well, I need to have all this place to build these buildings. And then I came in a game and I realized that the buildings would have been like 50 blocks in width and length and everything like that. So now we're just coming over here and doing some normal size buildings. Where to get ourselves started, I wanted to throw in the bridge location because this village is going to be built on both sides of the water. I think it's going to be a really cool idea of working with this riverway down the center. Coming in here first, I want to build up a bit of a storage room for ourselves, like a docks warehouse of sorts, which is going to be that red structure, which will add some docks in small areas for some smaller cargo ships to dock along the edge of the on the edge of the sound here and everything like that. So it should be pretty cool. Then the blue one and the green one are just gonna be some structures. One might be a small inn and one might be a brewery or something along those lines. This red diagonal structure that we're building is gonna be a town hall, which I think would be really cool to do a diagonal town hall. That green one off the left hand side with a little thing poking out of it is gonna be a watermill. I figured I've never really built watermills, so it'd be kind of fun to come in here and take on that challenge, build a few of them. We got that green one up there at the top. It's just gonna be another little farmhand house of sorts. Over here, however, is the main feature of this village, is I want to add in a fighters guild. I thought it'd be cool, or some sort of a guild. If you have ideas on something other than a fighters guild, let me know. But it's going to be this big V-shaped structure, maybe a stealth bomber according to some people. And I figured it'd be really cool to have that area. We're going to have those other places, and it's going to create a small little like gathering area out in front of the guild hall where they can hang out and everything. And so we'll just have a bunch of little buildings in there. Then off to this bottom side, we'll have like a house for the mayor. Then we'll have like a dockmaster's house and a smithy, and then just kind of working out the river a little bit more here. We've got a lot of plans. These aren't all the structures, just what I have planned for now. I know this plan doesn't seem like too much right now, but it's going to be a really cool village. I've got a lot of great ideas in mind for bringing some structures in here. I've kind of been experimenting with increasing the size of the structures that I've been going for. I used to kind of do like the 3x3 interiors, and now I've been moving it up to like the 5 wide interiors. Just give ourselves some extra space and experimenting more with like blockier shapes than just always rectangles or triangles or trapezoids or whatever they might be. I just think it's been more fun. Feel like I've been growing as a builder here, which has been cool. But I'm really excited for what's going to be the Fighters Guild over here. We've got a lot of terraforming to do with that hill behind us, but I think that'll be a fun project. Speaking of terraforming, however, what I would like to do today for the rest of this one is actually move away from our village a little bit here. Next episode, we're going to be diving into what the style of the village is. And first and foremost, what I'd like to do today is actually, as I mentioned earlier, get the road built up for our village. I think it's going to be super easy getting through this area because, you know, we already know what the blocks are that we're typically using throughout the desert roads. As weird as it kind of is, we're using coarse dirt, oak wood planks, and some path blocks in here. So if we just kind of bring this one all the way down here, we can bring it probably something along these lines here. I think it's probably going to be a good way to go for us. But now we've got this big lake here, so we probably want to bring it along the edge of the water and then do like a little diagonal bridge right along here. I know that the river kind of gets really shallow and everything throughout this spot, but I think that's okay. We'll widen that eventually. But I've got a few ideas that I want to try out today. What I normally do in terraforming, folks, is I mess with the overall shape of the terrain, smoothing it out, creating some cool cliff faces, whatever it might be, kind of just working with what we have here. But recently I've been really hooked on playing World of Warcraft again, and one thing that I absolutely love about the game is how they create their environments. The landscape that you're in really makes you feel nested inside of the environment of those, and so that's something I want to start experimenting with inside of this area that we're working at here. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time getting this road built up, get our first bridge built up over here, and then I'll probably fill in all these gaps in this area, to be honest, and we can, figure out some other stuff from there. I'm just over here casually getting the bridge in, got all this stuff done, went back to go get some more sandstone, and I'm working on creating this little retaining wall back here. I clicked one sand, my friends, and it fell all the way down there. I was just trying to do a little bit of, just a little filling the stuff in. And I was like, it's so smooth, it's nice. And then it all just went, and I think I'm leaving this for now. This can be one of those eyesores in the world that we're just like, yeah, it's staying right there for a little bit. I think nope, that's not gonna fall in. Okay, cool. That at least we're not dumping water down in there as well. But I'm working on the next point over here now, where we're kind of got all this stuff figured out. That's kind of starting to merge ourselves in over here and doing a little bit of terraforming with the retaining walls and everything. And that's kind of what I want to do for these spots so far. The road is just that same texture pattern that we've been using before, just coarse dirt, path block, some regular dirt, and some what are these, oak planks? There we go, that's the word for it. So I'd like to spend a little bit more time getting this stuff in here, but I've got a few cool ideas for things that we can do as we're kind of working this road in, going all the way over here. I want to bring in some brown concrete powder because I feel like that'll help to keep that transitionary element that I'm trying to go for. If we're transitioning out of the desert, so we want to change up the roadway and bring in some new blocks as it stretches out through here. It's going to loop up over that hill and kind of work its way around there. I think I'm going to finish the road to like right here for now because I want to terraform this area out and raise it all and kind of do more of a rounded hill. Similar actually to what we've been doing over in the port city. Not quite the same, not to the same level of having an entire custom hill that's, 20, 30 blocks above the ground, like where we have our old manor build that we just did. That's like way taller, but I would like to spend a little bit of time working around with that terrain and getting a little bit higher up off the ground than it otherwise would be. Just kind of the same point of reference of we'll have the same shape to it. So a lot of those plans we laid out in the concrete powder earlier in today's episode are actually giving me things that are a little bit further raised up off of the ground. But that's just a little bit of an update. Today's video is very much about concepts and kind of talking with you all about what I'm thinking about doing. I know we're not doing a whole lot of like actual building up of the village or getting these things down there, but I want to get the plan in for the village today and start to connect it up to the rest of the world, because that's something very important to me, is making sure everything that we do here is connected. Even if it's just connected with a road, like before we start a project, I want to make sure it's connected. Okay, so we've got the roadway in going all the way over there. It doesn't finish all the way off into the village, but we've got this area in and it's looking pretty solid. I've dotted in a bunch of this brown concrete powder and added in a little granite too to kind of help bring that warmer color in and just add some more variety into this one. But I think it's pretty good. And now what I want to show y'all was what I had planned for kind of the nature bits. As I mentioned, I've been looking at a few other games, WoW being one of them, that are doing a lot better job of like world building and where I feel like I can learn a little bit from them. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be building this up as like a little bit of a cliff face for ourselves right back in here. And I really like the idea that I have in mind is inside of the new zones, the new expansion that they have, there's a lot of like little areas where there's just so much stuff happening. And they're using a lot of like different colors and different terrain variations to it to make it feel a lot more alive and interesting than it otherwise would be, just kind of having the basic bland stuff that you typically see inside of the Minecraft stuff. So I was thinking about we can mix this up by bringing in a little bit of this gray concrete powder just to add some more color variation into this one. And we don't need to raise this up too much. We can do something like this and then start to bring our grass in all the way back here. Of course, it's going to swoop out some way like that. I'll get that figured out shortly. And we just keep extending these things around and kind of turn this into its own little bit of a hill, where on top of it, it's going to level off here. But then on the very, very high points of the hill, instead of just having some grass, maybe we start bringing in a little bit of coarse dirt to make it feel like the stuff is a little bit rougher, and maybe some smaller, more crumbled up stones. If I had some gravel on me, that could work out in here as well. But we use just a little bit of this to add some more peakiness to it, a little bit more variety as we're moving up the hill. And just kind of stretching that back around this area. We can still mix in a bit of grass with it, but what I would like to do is create this little area right in here where we're going to have a lot of these bits of coarse dirt in here to help it feel a little bit different than everything else. We have this kind of, think of it as like a layer on top of this weird cake thing that we're making, and it brings us up to here. And then we can come back in here with a little bit more stone and create a random rock cropping that looks like it's a boulder resting on top of this hill that I feel like would just be a really cool idea. It kind of helps add to that fantasy vibe almost that we're working with. So we can come up here and create a bit more of a custom stone. And I think around the custom stone, we really want to stress that there's a lot of coarse dirt in those areas than not. And that kind of brings us into doing something maybe a little bit like this. And this can be like just a purely stone one, because obviously it'd be a little difficult to work with all of the slabs and everything that I'm trying to use here while trying to add in all of that gray concrete powder. Sometimes concrete powder is a little limiting when you're trying to do any terraforming work with it, but if we do something like that, it gives a unique element when we're walking around the area. It's something that you might want to go and explore up and kind of see what's going on with it. And that would cause, like, maybe if we do something right into here, and then there can just be like a little bit more of that stuff right here, then that can cause us to want to stretch down the coarse dirt over here, and this will just kind of help break everything up. I know it's the same color that we have for a lot of the a lot of the roadways, but it's so separate that it still feels pretty good. And then on top of this, there's a few other things that we can do as well. I know we're kind of doing a long little clip here. I normally don't do these ones, but I didn't bring any leaves on me so far. But what we can do is kind of add in some patches where we have a lot of this greenery stuff, and adding in flowers into the center of those, I feel like is a really cool way that we can make this a lot more unique. Adding in some bushes into that too can work well with it, but instead of like what I normally do is cover everything with flowers and grass. And what I want to try over here is doing those into more pointed locations so they matter more where they are instead of not. And I think that's going to help us make this area feel a lot more unique than anything else that we're doing. I'm trying to grow with every single build that we do and work up to a point where we can create some really truly amazing things. I think we're getting there, but I also think there's a lot that we have left to learn. All right, it's time for a little bit of an update here. I've added a lot more shulker boxes of random things that we're using throughout this build, one of which being cyan terracotta. The gray concrete powder was just feeling a little far off for me from the stone, so I brought in cyan terracotta. I know it's not perfect, but it's what we've used back over in the mountains. I think it's about as best as we can get. I did not bring over cobblestone. I have some way over there, unless I put it back in here. Does not look like it. Maybe in the stone box. No, of course not. But I was going to say maybe we could try changing the stone out for cobblestone, and that might be a little bit darker and help it merge in here together. But I like what we have going on so far being just a few different areas that working together, because we leave that as stone and then, sorry, back on the cobblestone topic. But I brought in I've kind of worked it around this whole way. And one thing that I've liked is I've started bringing in a lot of the coarse dirt, creating these lines around the area. So it's defining the shapes a lot more easily of where the hills are and everything. And I like that little bit of color detail. I don't think I would use it everywhere, but I think in this case it works pretty well. Kind of trying to emulate that style of world building that I was talking about earlier. And I think it's doing a good job. I've got some trees here. I've decided that trees could look really, really good at points where a lot of the lines connect. Let me fix that guy up right there. But where we have a lot of these different areas of the coarse dirt connecting, that could be a cool outcropping area for having a few trees in those spots, because it'll be a little bit darker ground and everything like that. This is a tree design that I've used on pretty much every Minecraft survival Let's Play I've done besides this world. So it's finally a chance to be able to bring it in here, because I really, really do enjoy it. It's kind of like that warped spruce tree that we have, but just oak instead. I know, very, very innovative. Brand new thing over here. But I think this one works out pretty well. I will tell you what, however, folks, I think unfortunately I am out of time for today's episode. I've got to get this one ready for y'all. If you saw the Legacy SMP episode that came out yesterday, you'll know that I was recording that literally until the minute that it went live, and which means that this one got started a few hours later than I had intended to. But anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. Let me know what ideas y'all have for the village. I am all ears on this one. Any tips, suggestions, whatever y'all have for that one, please, please, please leave that down in the comments below. I love hearing from y'all when we're starting a brand new project because I think y'all have a lot of great ideas. Anyways, subscribe if you are brand new, and I will catch you on the fWhip side.